Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make incredibly easy, delicious strawberry freezer jam. This is out in my own garden. We planted these about 3 years ago. They're the TriStar Everbearing strawberries. They make delicious jam. All right, let's get started. Here's the strawberries I picked from out of my strawberry patch. Being an Everbearing strawberry, this is my first pick. Probably in about another week, it'll be another batch just like this. Super sweet. They're not very large, but they do make up for it in the sweetness factor. Here's what you need per batch of freezer jam. You need 4 cups of raw, fresh strawberries. I personally use the pint wide mouth jars. My daughters go through this jam quite fast, so it never gets a chance to go bad in the fridge. You will need a 3/4 cup measuring for the water to add to the pectin. I purchased the Sure-Jell pectin. They also have one that is for less sugar you can purchase. I've got my little saucepan, my measuring cup to measure out the strawberries, and you can either use a mixer or I like to use a potato masher to mash the strawberries. Just depends if you like your strawberries pureed more or if you like little chunks in your jam. You will also need sugar, and in this per batch recipe that I'm doing, I end up with 3 full pints of jam and a 1/2 cup left over, which when I make my second batch, I will add to that. All right, guys, I just measured out my 4 cups of raw strawberries. So now you would either mash them or throw them in the blender. Mash them as fine as you want. Once you're done, then you start to measure out the actual 2 cups of strawberries that you will need to make the jam with once you have mashed it down or pureed it. All right, the strawberries are mashed and ready to go. There are still some chunks in there, but they're pretty smashed down. My daughter really loves to have pieces of strawberry in her jam. So to start this freezer jam recipe, once you've mashed or pureed, you will need 2 cups of strawberries. There is usually some leftover puree or smashed strawberries, which if you're planning on doing a double batch, which I am, I will use them for the next batch. I have also found to not do double batches together. Do them one at a time. So my 3.5 pints for the one batch, the next for 3.5 pints. I have doubled it and it does not come out the same. It doesn't thicken like it should. Just word of advice. All right. Now we want to add the 4 cups of sugar. You really need to try to be exact. Don't skimp it and don't go over. It all has to be as perfect as you can get it for the setting process to take. The sugar and strawberry mixture needs to set for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally once you've got the sugar mixed in. Now you can set your timer for 10 minutes once the sugar's incorporated, and about every 2 minutes, just mix it around. Meanwhile, while your strawberries are resting with the sugar, you can get your saucepan ready with the pectin. So you need 1 pack of the pectin. And once again, I always get the Sure-Jell. I've had great luck with it. And you want to add 3/4 cups of water. Do not overdo it and do not underdo it. It's all in the gelling process. Just pour it in there. And I usually just do lukewarm water because it goes on the stove top. And you bring it to a boil for a minute. It's almost been 10 minutes, and as you can tell, the sugar has pretty much dissolved into the strawberries. So now I'm going to head over and start bringing my pectin to a boil. All right, so what we want to do, add your water and your pectin at the same time. You want to bring it to a boil on high heat. It will start out lumpy, but you want to continue to stir it so your pectin does not burn to the bottom of your pan. Eventually it'll come to a boil. Start your timer for 1 minute and remove it immediately from the heat, and you'll pour it into your strawberry and sugar mixture. I've added the hot pectin to my sugar and strawberry mixture. Now you want to set your timer for 3 minutes, continuously stirring so everything gets incorporated and dissolved together. All right, 3 minutes is up. All my sugar basically dissolved, and now it's time to start filling the jars. Now, when doing this, they say, especially if you're doing the freezer jam, you want to leave at least a 1/2 inch headspace for expansion in the freezer. So usually I stop it at about the ring right here, and that works perfect. All right, guys, I got 3 full pint jars. We've got a little bit left over in the bowl, which I will incorporate with my next batch. If you're only doing 1 batch, this works really well just storing it in the refrigerator as an ice cream topping, or like my kids, they like to just come take a little spoonful. Definitely is one of the best jam recipes. It's quick, it's easy, the girls love it. I personally have not bought store jam in at least 5 years. This is my summer thing I do every year for my kids. I do strawberry, we do raspberry jam, blackberry jam, and this year I'm actually going to try to do blueberry jam. So I'm really excited to share that recipe with you guys. So once we're done, make sure there is no jam around the ring, because that will prevent it from getting a nice good seal in the freezer. And place your lids. I like to use the bands also to make sure your lids are secure. Because we're not going through a water bath or actually canning, and we're doing freezer jam, all my freezer jams, I reuse my metal lids as long as the seals still look good. So that kind of helps, you know, when you make a lot of jam every year. I've got all my lids and my rings on. Now you want to scoot your jam to the side of the counter, and you want to let it set for 24 hours with trying not to move it at all. I'll usually put a towel over it so nobody even's tempted to pick it up. Once it's sat for 24 hours, you can put it straight in the fridge, which can last up to 3 weeks, or put it straight in your freezer and it can last up to a year. Now, mine, we have a deep freezer, so I've gotten at least a good 2 years out of these in the freezer, and when I open them, they're just as good as the day it was made. Now, here's what we do with the left... Hey, what are you guys doing?
That's perfect, Mommy.